All right. Doggone it. I've been thinking about this for a long time, couple months at least. I'm Niver, and this is Niverland, and I got some shit to say today. State of the industry, kinda. I don't know. I can't speak for the industry. I can just speak for myself and some of the other folks that have reached out to me lately about what's happening to them, how they're feeling in their businesses, what's returning, what's not returning, what's offering returns, what's not offering returns. And it made me think of this article that Stephanie March wrote about the closure of some of our favorite places. And that obviously there's some regret, right? That we can't support everybody, but that we couldn't help keep those stalwart places together. And so I'm going to read a little bit of what she said because I think it's vital just to kind of get it from her side. She talks about it being from the diners side of things. So I'm just going to read this quick. This is Steph March, food and dining editor. I'm quoting her recent post about our business. Here it is. On the restaurant side, more owners will burn out from years of trying to keep up, and some of our favorite spots will close. They won't have a satisfying reason. They'll just be done. As diners, we supported our restaurants during the toughest times at a frenzied pitch, ordering takeout, buying gift cards, giving huge tips to stem the fear that we might lose our gathering spaces and the people who make them wonderful. We help save a lot of them, but we can't stop the cycle. We can do our best to support the new spots striving to make the scene vibrant. And we can do our best to get to all of our old favorites that make the scene rich. But we can't save everyone. So true, Stephanie March. You can't save everyone. It's not up to you to save our restaurants necessarily. We want you to come. We need to give you reasons to come. It's harder to get you downtown in St. Paul, and I'm about to discuss maybe why. Still a lot of flux in our industry. People come to me saying, hey, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? Do you have admin fees or service charges? How are you handling that? You know, it should be simple, right? You know, like when you see something clearly in business, you have to make a business decision and you move forward. But there's so many mitigating factors, so many things that are out there also kind of adding pressure to us that everything's still changing and there's no stasis. Nothing's normal. Still. We're scrambling. We're trying to find semblance in our industry. We're trying to make it work. Those of us who have survived through the pandemic and got to here, I remember y'all saying, I'm so glad you made it. And I am too. And you did everything you could for us. And on the other side of that time, you know, we've ended up with what's left. We have declining visits in downtown St. Paul. We have declining convention business. We still don't have businesses back having their workers back to work fully. And, you know, St. Paul then kind of feels empty a lot. And when St. Paul feels empty, what do you see? You see bigger problems. You see the plight of folks who are experiencing homelessness more often. The town feels empty, and you see people wilding out, rolling around on the ground. Just yesterday, I didn't know what to do for this person, but these are the scenes that we see in St. Paul more often because our streets are hollowed out. Our corporations are not fully back in downtown. And the city itself, I don't think it knows what to do with itself. I don't think there's any confidence in trying to bring people back down here. I don't think there's a path for new businesses to see the light in St. Paul and be like, God, I can go there and make money. We've made so many changes, progressive changes, and they help people. Fuck, we need to help people. People need help. But also, that cannot disregard the need to have businesses that support the people that need work. And the city has to support the idea that business is also employing all these people you're so worried about. And the business has to be able to sustain itself in this city, in this state. And there's got to be a reason for entrepreneurs to seek opportunity, to seek money, to make money. It's okay. Businesses are supposed to make money. They're supposed to thrive. It's just getting harder and harder to thrive. A few specific things I wanted to say. I mentioned the folks experiencing homelessness. That makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable. Too fucking bad. We need to help these people. You get to see it in your empty city. And we do need to help these people. Absolutely. But the city completely flipped on its ear during COVID. The folks that were living here in Lower Town before COVID are not here anymore. And the demographic that's here now is so much younger. And I love it. I love the youth. But they don't have the disposable income of the folks that were here 5 years ago. And so my business is in a place that feels a little more isolated. It's more of a destination now. If you're coming to a Saints game over here, yeah, the city fills up for those things. Not even the city, just Lower Town fills up for that. It doesn't necessarily make it easier for me to do business while they're there, but thank heavens that there's activity at least. And the city feels occupied. I don't have an answer for that problem. I just know that people don't feel as safe downtown now. People don't have the perception that you can come to St. Paul and, just kind of wander around without any danger at all. It's a city, fam. It's a city. Why do I feel isolated in St. Paul? I got to say, I can drive down to Bloomington, where the minimum wage for employees in Bloomington for a small business is $8.63. And the minimum wage here in St. Paul is $13. And we talked about this. The mayor invited me into his office, not to meet with him, but with the lieutenant mayor. This was about 5 years ago when the minimum wage was a debate. And I'm for it. I'm for raising the minimum wage. But part of that discussion, when I was in meeting with the lieutenant mayor and a couple other people, the conversation kind of focused around what the problems were with our industry, and specifically like sexual harassment. They asked me about that. And I'm like, well, if there's sexual harassment in a joint, your owners and managers got to take care of it. Is it rampant in our business? Jesus, I don't think so. Just don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't lump us all together. Yeah, there's bullshit out there. There's horrible operators and there's harassment. There's wage theft. Yeah, there's some assholes. They're going to steal shit from people. Gosh, doesn't mean everybody's that way. And so all these questions are kind of coming at me. I'm like, hey, I'm not getting in line with our industry being so fucked up that it's not cool, that it's not good. Results of that conversation were, I think they had to have the meeting, with numerous folks to get their opinions about what was happening back when the minimum wage was, being discussed. There was also a tip credit discussion. That would have, fallen kind of in line with the raising of all of these minimum wage. This tip credit discussion absolutely gets pushed to the wayside. The good mayor decides to poke fun at it at Christmas ball playing his piano. I just didn't find any humor in it. You can poke fun at something that does help, that could help businesses, and you could have made this work. You could have given the businesses another avenue, but you didn't. You just raised the minimum wage. No consideration exactly for what the business outcome might be. But I think we told you. So if I gave my business partner a business plan 8 years ago and said, we're going to make $100,000 a year, with the last 3 and 4 years of the incremental minimum wage hikes, that $100,000 is going to be gone. It's going to be gone. Yeah, we've raised prices, but that's covering other shit too. But we have to raise our prices to take care of our people, to pay the bills, to offer that minimum wage to everybody in the city here. It's a lot. And the competitive advantage of, say, opening a business in the suburbs right now is clear. $3 to $4 an hour minimum wage difference. And I just don't know how to compete with that. I had Rob Jones on from Meteor Bar in front of a group of people, so I don't feel bad saying this. I said, hey, man, you're going to open up another place? And he's like, not in Minneapolis. Fuck. Here I have an entrepreneur. He owns, like one of the more highly regarded bars in our city, top quality person, and he doesn't want to do it again. Not in Minneapolis. It's too hard. That's sad. I spoke to some other restaurant owners last night here at St. Dinette, who helps us sponsor this, by the way. 2 restaurant owners come in, and I say to them, how y'all doing? Oh, yeah, we're doing good. I'm like, cool. What are your plans? You going to expand? And they're like, not in Minnesota. It's not everybody. I just think when you look at the opportunities that are sitting there now, they're just way different than they were 5 years ago. And it's really hard to see clearly how you can profit. Do you know what state is the most expensive to start a business in? You might think it's New York. New York was number 2 on the list. Minnesota is number 1. Number one most expensive place to do a startup. Nearly a 10% corporate tax rate. New York's behind us. They're trailing. Shit. It's just not getting any easier. I want businesses to come back down in St. Paul. The woes here are interesting. We have a sales tax hike coming. The property tax levy last year was 14%. This year, only 8% tax levy for property owners. And that's thankfully because of some federal aid. So if you're owning a building, it's more expensive. That could be your path so that you're not being charged rent. And yet when you do this, you buy a building and now these taxes go up so high that it changes. It changes your prospectus and your perspective on what your business can do. Ecolab ordered 2,700 employees back to work in downtown in 2022. But they're not full-time. Securian has people back downtown, but they're not full-time. You know what, Ecolab? Do you know how much money I spend on your shit? Huh? All of us restaurant people, we spend on your stuff. I want to see you downtown, and I want to see you in my restaurant. I'm buying your shit. Still, I have to. And I really want you to see you again. I'm not just jerking off Ecolab, but I'm saying that there's a responsibility there, a corporate responsibility. I'm still buying from you. I have to. I need you to buy from me, and I need you to be downtown more. and more often and showing support. $1,000 a month each restaurant. We have rental fees that are going up. We buy your chemicals and make you billions. Billions. I want to see your people here. I want to see Ecolab here. I want them to come in with their name tags and be like, hey, we're Ecolab. We know you buy so much shit from us. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Ecolab's important to me. Ecolab helps me run my business. I'm not shitting on Ecolab, but I need your help, Ecolab. And maybe I'm picking on Ecolab too hard. Too bad. The point is made. Without these corporate partners in our downtown filling the cities with their business, it hurts. It just plain old hurts. Convention business. Convention business pre-COVID, 260 some events, 467,000 people visiting the city of St. Paul. Rad. It's a lot of people. This year, 200 events. Hey, that number is pretty good. 246, or last year, I don't know. 246,000 people visited our city. Half. When there's half amount of people that come here, they don't disperse as far out into the city. The restaurants that are closest to the events fill up first, and there's just not enough people to spread around. There's no occupancy. I don't know how hotels are doing it. It's half. It's half the convention business. Absolutely. People are traveling less for those business things. I get it. And they're sending less people to do those visits and those conditions and those conventions. And I get it. But, we're scrambling for people here downtown, fam. Since COVID, it does feel empty in St. Paul, like on certain nights. It just does. St. Paul is kind of quiet to anybody, and they want to keep it small. And I don't. When I got here to St. Dinette, when we opened this up 8 years ago, this was one of the hottest zip codes in the United States per USA Today. Consider the source. But however, geez, things looked really good. And we know as a restaurant, we've always said it. We didn't believe that CHS Field was going to help us fill our restaurant. We didn't believe the termination of the light rail behind us over here was going to fill our restaurant. We always knew that it was going to be up to us to make enough noise to get people down here. But at that point, the city's occupancy was at least full, and now it's not. Hey, it's like a fucking island down here. We're a business island where we're now a destination. We weren't a destination so much. We had people around us living here to support us, businesses around us living here to support us. And now we're a destination, an island. We're a financial island as well, paying some of the highest food taxes, paying the highest liquor taxes. Enough is enough. I'm trying to remember when somebody said to me, hey, we have this idea to help businesses make money. The city is here for you in full support. I don't know. I don't know if I'm seen by the city at all. I don't believe I am. I think the people are seen. I think the mayor's done a hell of a good job taking care of people. God bless that. I think the good mayor is going to get my vote again, but I got to say, it's not because he did a lot for me or anything. City services, plowing the streets, those types of things. It's not any better. It doesn't help us get people down here. St. Paul, I see it. St. Paul's struggling. It's not everybody. But I wanted this to be like the Brooklyn to Minneapolis's New York. And it's not happening. Mears Park Madison Group closes restaurants. On the park, it's not working. Bulldog's been there forever. Thank heavens for them. Barrio's still there. World of Beers was some sort of corporate chain, and they're gone. Here's Mears Park, and it's just kind of dead. It's a problem. It's sad. And it's wearing on us. We're the ones creating the verb for the city as best we can. I'm not sure I see the city setting the verb for itself or for us. Property tax levies. Did I say this? Property tax levies last year were 14%. This year, 8%. Did I talk about that? I did. God, it weighs heavily on me. Buying a building was really, really a way to help my business sustain itself. These taxes go towards roads because we need roads. We need the roads to be in good shape. We absolutely do. So people can get to work. That's not it, though. It's not just about the roads. I think cities asking the businesses to foot the bill for everything. Back to that meeting with the lieutenant mayor, they're talking about wage theft. They're talking about, the things that are troubling for the industry. I didn't get in line with them necessarily. A few years later, I'm thinking, damn, how did the state, they're talking to me about wage theft. How does the state have 19 billion surplus? The fuck is that? I'm not saying that's wage theft. I'm saying that's taxes. You got to leave some of this money in our pockets, fam. Who supports? Who pays? What businesses have minimum wage workers? Restaurants. We're footing the bill. And we're trying. Food prices have gone up. So the servers, if you have a tipping model, are making more money than ever. Prices are through the roof. If you have a tip model, servers are doing well by it. I'm not sure, I can't tell them what to do with their money, but in a tip model, a lot of times those servers give their money and pay it out to the support staff. And I have zero control of it, and I shouldn't have control of it. It's their money. But they also got a $1 raise this year. The servers, support staff, anybody who's minimum wage. So the servers are doing better than ever on a tip model. And the businesses are kind of wondering, oh, damn, I'm glad everybody's doing well, but I don't have the margin anymore. I don't get that. Any bit of that price increase necessarily goes to the new costs. There's no leftover. How much can we raise our prices? I've heard people talking about the dining quotient being imbalanced, and it is. Things are fucking expensive. I can make that at home better. Cheaper. Why would I buy that steak there? I could just do this at home. And what I'm hearing is diners want experiences when they go out. They want some fucking smoky cocktail. They want a little sparkler in their drink. They want a fucking circus and experience. Yeah, me too. I think that's great. Do you think going to a place because of nostalgia is an experience? Do you remember just going to a place and eating and enjoying it? And not going there because it's a shiny new penny? We're fickle. And we want new shit all the time. We want choice. And it makes it hard. It makes it hard for businesses. We're trying, fam. So tipping. I mean, I don't think that I'm going to be able to have that model anymore. I do think tipping is going to go away, and primarily because businesses are going to have to protect some more percentage points for themselves. Instead of the raise of prices in a tip model going to the servers, this raise in prices going to a service charge is really helpful. It's really helpful. It does give us the opportunity as owners to disperse the money differently, more equitably. Some people don't trust restaurateurs to do that, and they're worried about wage theft or where that money's going. It's almost like folks don't want the restaurant to be able to survive. It's almost like they don't remember that it was common knowledge even before the pandemic that this was a risky business. How do we make up? How do we make up the difference? Folks say, just don't do a service charge. Just add it to the price of the food. Sticker shock, fam. I know there's 20% here, there's 20% there. It's still going to be there. Whether I put it in the price of the food or I add it as a service charge, it's still going to be there. The 20% is still going to be there. So one way or the other, if you tip that much. If I add the service, if I just raise my prices 20 more %, for example, y'all are getting charged tax on those raised prices. You end up paying more taxes to the government just because we want to kind of put it in there and make it neat so we don't have to see what the surcharge is. I don't want to send more money to the government. They're already getting it. An admin fee goes on the subtotal of a price that's not raised up 20% to reach a new tax level. You guys, you don't want to give more to the government either. Stop giving places shit about having a service charge because you don't know where the money goes. Businesses are scrambling to survive. We need an extra 1-2% to get by. 1 or 2%. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. City of Minneapolis also raised their taxes. I'm not sure what for. Was it 10, 11, 12% on booze now? You know, if I have an admin fee, think of this. If I have a $10 item and I want to raise it 20%, let's say I get it up to $12, you're paying tax on that $12. If it's a $10 item and I add an admin fee on it, that admin fee is for you, right? That admin fee is on the subtotal of a lesser expensive item. And then if I raise my drink prices to include all of this service charge, then you're paying taxes extra and extra on top of it. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do it. I understand. We've created confusion. This industry has created confusion out of its own necessity to organize it itself. To find a new standard, to make a standard that works for people, that's not confusing, that doesn't piss people off, that doesn't make people feel like the restaurant's going to take advantage of the employee. But the restaurant ultimately pays that employee and needs to survive. If it wasn't there, it won't be there. A tip credit would help. You know, if I go to Bloomington, it's $8.63 there, and I get... You know, and I don't want to start a business in Bloomington, man. But geez, it's not far from Minneapolis, right? Just right there. And they have a competitive advantage hiring and making a business with that lower minimum wage. Your entrepreneurs are going to run to the money. They're not going to stay here and fight for it. I don't want to lose what we started gaining. But I see it going. There's some guest things too. You know, we've all changed. I freaking changed a lot since COVID. I go out less. I don't like admitting it, but I do. I go out less. I like being at home. Most of you are going out less. Discretionary dollars are spent different ways. You stay closer to home. It's cool. Totally get it. But we need you downtown. St. Paul, Minneapolis. Support the difference. Support those politics. If you feel like people should be making a heftier minimum wage than you should be eating in the cities. I'm really glad to hear the North Loop's doing well. I'm really glad to hear that some neighborhood places are doing really well. I totally get it. But there's a lot of other places there that are still fighting. A lot of us didn't get revitalization money, by the way. So if a restaurant isn't complaining about being slow, maybe it's because their coffers are full with government money still. Only 30% of the restaurants got that money. 70% are out there wondering what the fuck happened to me. Doesn't seem fair, right? Without PPP, I certainly wouldn't be here. None of my restaurants would have survived. I'm lucky. I'm grateful. But inequity exists. And there's a lot of restaurants out there that don't have the same worries paying for taxes or whatever because the bank accounts are full. With government money, your money. And there's a lot of places, 70% of them, that don't have that. New startups in St. Paul and Minneapolis. Well, I mean, we see new places popping up, obviously. Most of them have a little bit higher price point, a little fancier fine dining. Yep. That sector seems to be doing well. Those who had money have it still. And they're going to those restaurants. And they're really good. And they add to the scene. Second tier restaurants, maybe those that are a little smaller or more mom and pop or whatever in the city, don't quite have that same level of business. If you're outside one of those little zones like the North Loop, and not everybody's doing great down there, but a lot of people are. If you're not in that section of the city or in a neighborhood that's got a vibe, this shit gets really, really hard. EIDL loans are coming due. These are these emergency loans from the SBA. You can see the default rates. If you want to look them up online, they're increasing. And yeah, I got to say, fraud's everywhere. Anytime the government gives out money, there's fraud. And I don't want you to generalize and say that restaurants are all fraudulent. But I know there's a lot of money out there that shouldn't have been given out. But there's some truly good people who needed that money and spent that money. And the SBA gave us good terms, too. 30 years to pay it back. How many restaurants do you know have 30 years on them? You better pay that shit off in 5. We look at the size of our menu now and figure out what we can make and put out with the highest level of quality with less people. Menus have shrunken. They're smaller because we are just too used to having so much choice. But restaurants, we can't have all that product laying around. We got to be sniping and making sure that everything we buy is sold. And that kind of shortens the choice for some people. Some concepts just can't possibly carry everything for everybody. There's a lot of same out there too. Being inventive, being different, and pushing the limits is good if you're doing it, and that's good for you. But that doesn't mean the people around here want their limits pushed. I think we pretty much eat the same thing all the time. It's getting a little boring. So it's hard to be different. It's hard to challenge status quo. I don't know how to find an investor for a restaurant right now. I don't know what I'd tell them. In Minneapolis and St. Paul, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to see it clearly where I'm charging you enough and giving you value enough and whatever it is, all the front-facing and back-facing parts of these businesses. It's really, really hard to work. Some of us are just still in it, going, still, like I say, scrambling, trying to figure out a new result. I got away from my point, but that's easy to do because, again, we're distracted. We're distracted because there's so many things happening. And the guests have changed. Like I said, they are not out as frequently. Online reservations are pretty good. That helps. People make their reservations, and cancellation rates are up. They're through the roof too. You make plans and you cancel them frequently. Hey, I just want to say, Moochie's last night, we had 100 advance covers for that little place. I am so fucking grateful that we ended up there. But we had 46 total people cancel, which is a full turn of people for Moochie's. For that one day, 18 tables booked and canceled, 46 people. It's really hard to keep up with it. When you make a reservation a week in advance or 2 days in advance, you already occupy that table when you make that reservation. You know that, right? You occupy it. You're already basically seated there, and nobody else can be seated there. So when you make a last-minute decision to cancel your reservation, restaurants are struggling to fill that gap. Not a lot of people will miss a haircut. You had a personal relationship with your person, your stylist, and they go and you're not going to miss that appointment because they make you look pretty. But it seems like even when we are sending out confirmations to folks and they say, yes, we're going to come, that in a minute before service, we had an 8-top cancel. I'm like, wow, why? Why now? 8 people? They had 15 minutes before their reservation. You held those 2 4-tops all week on the busiest night of the week, and then you canceled at 5. Thanks. But I'm going to have a hard time filling those seats, man. It's not cool. But we don't want to charge you a deposit for reservations to, protect ourselves because we don't think you'll do it. We don't think you'd like that. They do it in Miami. They do it in New York. They do it in major cities. A little hard to convince people of that here, to put in a deposit. Then you're committed. You got to go. We're going to lose that $10 a head or whatever the fuck it is. But when you don't show up or you cancel late, that really hurts us. And it's a lot. It's a lot, guys. It's not even a small percentage. I got to tell you, it's pretty volatile, and it's really disheartening. It's disheartening that you can't show up when you say you're going to show up. I'll use Moochie's for an example. Again, if we have 44 seats there and a 4-top cancels at 5 p.m., that's almost 10% of our seating. Sure, there could be a walk-in, but we take reservations and reserve every seat. We can't tell if they're going to come in or not. And if they don't come in a timely in that time frame, we can't seat them because we're expecting another table after you. Yes, this is a timed experience. So when you do show up for your reservation, I'm thankful. If you're seated in the first turn, you probably should know, maybe the restaurant even tells you, maybe it's even on their menu, that there will be people coming after you and that this is literally a timed experience. And it has to be that way. We have to demand these timed experiences because we have less people coming to our businesses, and it's even more important to make sure that we get that turn. We don't like putting limits on things. I don't like rules for dining. I want people to sit around forever, but these days, like I say, we have to be assassins about this stuff. We have to snipe this and make sure that we are all over our shit just to fill the seats. And the volatility of the numbers going up and down and people canceling so far into the night is really just hard. The other thing about you going and getting a haircut and you not canceling that haircut is maybe you have a personal relationship with your barber. You have a personal relationship. Guess what? It's personal to me when you make a reservation here. And it's even personal enough that I might be there when you get there for your reservation. That's how personal it is. I feed you. It's personal. Show up. The other thing is people just don't come. They make the reservation and don't come. They don't cancel. They don't do anything. They just don't come. You have a responsibility. You're holding that table and so somebody else can't get it. You really do. You owe it to the business to be better about that. Yo, it's my hustle to take care of it, even if you're not better than that. I get it. It's not all on you. Like, I know. I don't want to be calling you on your phone and be like, you coming? So when you get that text from us, that text confirmation, if you're not going to come, let us know. If you're going to confirm that reservation, we need you there. I got a little gripe about credit cards too. Credit card fees make up 3%. 97% of the transactions are done through credit cards. 3% of that is a charge. $100, it's $3 charge for the use of your credit card. Is that the cost of me doing business or the cost of you having the convenience to use your credit card? State of Minnesota says I can charge the servers, deduct from their tips the amount of the credit card fees from the servers. It's legal. I can make them pay for that transaction. So in turn, if I did that, which I don't, the servers would be paying for your miles, your cash back. That's so valuable to you. I bet you're going to see a lot of people say, hey man, you just need to pay for this credit card transaction. It's a convenience fee for you to use a card. These are just little things, but they're not little. If I look at my bottom line and I'm trying to find 3%, 2%, 1% just to make it go, something like that is going to change. All I want is a vibrant community. All I want is the opportunity to make money. All I want is to be creative and feed people and be hospitable and take care of them. But shit's stacking up too high to make that possible. It's taking our focus away. We have less people doing more. Service declines. It's a mess. It's a mess. I feel really vulnerable when I talk about these things, the things that are hard for me, the hard for the business. I feel really vulnerable because I feel like you look at me and be like, God, that guy's fucking griping and bitching and this and that. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it sounds like that to you. I don't want it to. I just need you to know our reality. It's even more important to support your restaurants now than it was before. We had assistance then. We had assistance as well as your help during COVID. Thank you so much for that. But that assistance is gone. And what we're left with is the detritus. And it feels like it's crumbling. The cities just don't feel like they're doing enough to look at business and say, hey, we need to be able to support these guys. I don't feel it. Oh, by the way, food cost. I was just looking at numbers. Year over year, a summer month, which is a busy month at Moochie's, and the last 2 years, this year and last year, very similar sales. A couple $1,000 different total sales gross. But we spent on food cost $4,000 more that month than the year prior for the same shit, basically. $1,000 a week more for food cost. A small business making up $1,000 a week, year over year. Like, if you're not intently watching this, you're going to get screwed. If you're intently watching this, there's nothing you can fucking do about it. Shit's just more expensive. It's just really hard to take the food costs, the increased taxes, which raise the overall price of everything, pass all that on to the guests and make it a valuable experience for them. Well, it'd be really valuable because it's really expensive. So we're doing our best. Hey, we don't want to shrink portions all the way down. We don't want to take what, those value propositions off the plate. I don't want to send more taxes to the government. We're still trying to find equity within our businesses and paying people appropriately. And service charges really are the only avenue for that. It's just harder to do business, period. So what's the answer? I said all this shit, right? I said all this shit, the stuff that's bothering me, the things that hurt, why it's so hard. Other business owners coming to me, you know, like pulling their hair out, scratching their heads, trying to figure it out. We're not in a financially competitive position with the folks that surround these two cities. Suburbs are flourishing and they have more opportunity. And yet, tax base for the entire fucking state is from these two cities, basically. I just want to say it. I just had to say it. Doesn't feel great. I keep a positive fucking attitude, man. I really do. I'm fighting. I see it. I keep a positive attitude. I pay myself less so that I can keep up payroll for others. Yeah, I'm still fucking working. We need to see opportunity. Business people need to see opportunity. We need to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the city needs to reach out and help. And yes, I want your business. I want your business. I want you to come visit us. St. Dinette and Moochie's are as good as they've ever been. We're working hard, really good people, really good culture, all of it. But yeah, you know, like we need to see it more. But it's not just you, it's big picture, city things, the demands, licensing costs have gone up. Things don't go down in price. They just don't. They're going up. So I don't have a solution for you. I've just outlined some of the challenges. And it makes me think that you need to know, you know, when you walk into a place, people are smiling at you. The chef owner is cooking, you know, we're setting the table and being hospitable. We're doing everything we can, but you got to know that the undercurrent is way more difficult. Way more difficult. The ability to surprise you and make an exciting evening for you, it's just harder to do. We're not giving up. We don't give up. I don't give up. I'm a grinder. I'm a fighter. I'm innovative. And I am still here despite this. And I love this city. I love it. I live in St. Paul. I work in St. Paul. I own businesses in St. Paul. My kids go to school in St. Paul. And I want to stay. And I want to be an entrepreneur that can see the light in this state. Forward. And you know what? I don't want to open restaurants anymore either. I just want to keep the ones I have. What do you think? What do you think about what I said? Did I make any sense here? Does it feel like I kind of outlined some of the things that are going on in our business that make it hard? Do you understand that we need you to make a reservation and commit and be there? Let's fucking go, St. Paul. Put it together. See the bigger picture. I'm into some of the progressive politics, like it or not. But I can see things getting progressively harder. And if that's the progressive politics we're going at, I don't want it. It is about the people. It's about everybody. I happen to be a person that owns a business in this city, too. What are you doing for me? I'm here for you, city. I'm here for you, St. Paul. I'm here for you supporting whatever you can get it downtown. I'm here doing my best. I'm here for you, St. Paul. I need you to be here for me too. Minneapolis too. I closed a business in Minneapolis that year. Imagine being on Lake Street right now. You seen all the shuttered scenarios there? I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay. But the factors are too overwhelming to do it sometimes. So how do I end in a positive note here? I don't really know. I'm thinking it in my head. I'm like, oh, what's a positive spin here? The spin is if you love this business and you want to remain here and you want to continue to serve, then you're going to have to make some more sacrifices. Or you're going to have to increase your prices and hope people will pay them. I've benefited greatly from being in St. Paul. That doesn't make it easy. That doesn't make it better. I want to be able to keep giving. I just don't know how to. And so there it is. These are not just my problems. These are everybody's problems. These are the things we're all dealing with. These are the things that you're paying for as guests. And the onus is on us to take care of it and run our business appropriately so that we can continue to survive. So we're going to have to do what we're going to have to do. I'm sorry if that confuses you, fam, but we're scrambling. We're still scrambling. I'm going to continue to grind. I'm going to continue to fight, and we're going to continue to put out the best damn food and service possible. We're going to find a way around this. But you need to know. This is our reality, and we're going to push through this. And we still need your help. If I said anything to offend you today, or if you disagree with me, you're welcome to comment. I don't know if I'll answer. This is an opinion, maybe. It doesn't have to be in line with what you agree with or not. I'm not a sad boy. I'm a happy boy. But damn, fam, we got to get some more shit right so businesses aren't going to leave our cities, so that people want to stay here and that we can keep the verve going. I really appreciate the time. If you ended up listening to this whole thing, appreciate the time. Your ear. I want you to reach out to me and talk to me about what you're going through. If it's similar to my words here and you're experiencing the same things, just reach out. We can talk about it. I think that's it for now. I've seen what I can see. I looked at what I can look at. It's hard to do business always. But it's worth it still. It's worth it still. So I'll be here. I'll be here at Dinah and I'll be here at Moochie's, and you'll see me and I'll be smiling and I'll take care of you. That ain't going to change. Keep going to your places. Keep going to the places that you love. Keep going to the places that treat you well. Keep going to your everyday places. Keep taking care of your people. Please understand, if you don't like their new policies, it's not because of you. It's because we're trying to make it work. Please understand that somebody's going to come and sit at a table after you, and we need them to. Thanks for hearing me out today on Niverland and my rant. Thanks for hearing me out. Thanks for supporting me and telling me that you learn stuff sometimes when I have these conversations with you. It's important to me. And as always, thank you for watching and listening to Niverland.